Joined right now by Evy Poumpouras, who was once a member of the Secret Service. She has firsthand experience protecting high-ranking government officials. Evy, thank you so much for being with us. Just in speaking to what Joe brought up there at the end, the fact that these U.S. Marshals deputies were outside of Justice Kavanaugh's home, this potentially was the reason why this suspect turned himself in, right?
Yes, that's correct. Because even as the information is coming in and we're seeing he on his own even called 911 to turn himself in. And so this could have been something very, very different, very, very dangerous. We're seeing someone who voluntarily turned themselves in, saw the U.S. Marshals. U.S. Marshals probably saw him, didn't think anything of it initially. When you're looking at protection, especially the residence and home of someone, your protectee, in this case, Justice Kavanaugh, you have to have a security perimeter. And what we're seeing is a lot of these protesters allowed to be much, very too close to the home. You want to spread out, push out, and create a perimeter around the residences and do proper security. We've also seen in the last couple of years a heightened or elevated response as far as threats go towards government officials. So this is something that has been escalating over the years that we've been seeing.
Why in the world isn't there a law similar to protecting the President of the United States? There's a bill that recently passed in the Senate, the Supreme Court Police Parity Act. But again, that was just recently. Why would there be any reason not to pass similar protections for the justices?
You know, it could be political reasons. It could be because it's never been needed before. A lot of times things are looked at. If you think about it, protection is very expensive, especially 24-hour protection. And then what does that mean? Is it just for the justice? Is it for when the justice travels outside of the D.C. area? Typically before, when the justices traveled, some of them would turn down protection. They wouldn't even take it with them. Mm-hmm. And then do you extend it to their family, to their spouse, to their children? So now you're looking at a huge monetary cost. Then you're looking at vehicles. Do they bring in their own vehicles? Are they ballistic vehicles? So this is a huge monetary cost that, although it seems like it's not a big deal, it is a huge cost to the taxpayer. But I think where we are today with the volatility that we're seeing, and then also, here's the thing, copycats. Once one person does it, now it triggers other people to have the same or similar idea. In this instance, we were very fortunate.
Yeah, we were very fortunate, that gentleman turning himself in, calling 911, saying he was having suicidal thoughts, but that he was outside the justice's home. I want to play a soundbite from Senator Mitch McConnell actually responding to the fact that this bill to protect justices is stalled on the House side, and get your reaction. Let's listen.
This is where we are, Mr. President. If these reports are correct, an assassination attempt against a sitting justice or something close to it, this is exactly the kind of event that many feared that the terrible breach of the court's rules and norms could fuel.
And he's speaking to the breach of the opinion from the Supreme Court, the draft opinion potentially overturning Roe v. Wade if it is indeed enacted. Do you believe that in the times that we're in, considering your experience with the Secret Service, that we really should take every precaution, considering how volatile some of these protests, again, this young man saying that that's the reason he went to Kavanaugh's home, is because of that potential overturning of Roe v. Wade? Can we afford not to protect our justices?
Not right now. I think we're seeing two things. One, we're seeing a lot of volatility within just society, with the way people are protesting, reacting. You know, you can combine COVID and all the different things that are happening in the world today to see the responses that people are having this expense of perhaps violence, so to speak. And then on the other hand, we're seeing individuals, heightened threats. We're seeing somebody who had mental health issues, where unfortunately he spoke up. So what are you going to do in a situation when there's something truly nefarious, where it's someone who's calculated, who understands what they're doing, whose head is clear, right? They have a plan in place. That's what you need to look out for.
And the digital safety is also an issue. Really quickly, is there any way to protect the home addresses, the personal information of such high-profile government officials like Supreme Court justices?
I think that's extremely difficult. Now, the U.S. Marshals Service and some of these other law enforcement entities should be working around the clock, having a cybersecurity team to protect the environment that these individuals are in. So, for example, in the U.S. Secret Service, there was an element that really protected the cyber element that had to do with our protectees, communication. Although everybody knew where the president lived, and although they knew where former presidents lived, we went through great lengths to secure those individuals. How much you can do, they really should be doing it, scrubbing the internet, deleting records, deleting information, anything pertinent, the best you can do. And individuals should be doing this as well for themselves.
All right, Evy Poumpouras, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.